Okay, we've just heard this morning's evidence just come to an end at the Undercover Policing Inquiry, Day 8. We've been listening to Kate Hudson, representing CND. I'm joined with Mike. What do you think of this morning's session?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Kate Hudson, it was very, very professional, very good at dealing with the, I suppose, accusations, and and showing that CND was a very balanced organisation, and that these allegations about being taken over by whoever was actually quite. I mean, being taken over by Christians. Which, I mean, obviously, we wouldn't want organisations taken over by Christians, but yes, it's
no, definitely the anti-Christian bloc here today. Yes. It was a lot of it was quite historical. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find an organisation in the 1980s that was organising public demonstrations who were less cooperative with the police. I mean, like there were some sections which they were reading out, which I found they quite angered me, really. I mean, they were just talking about however unjust the police are behaving, make sure you cooperate with them. And this was the guidance, CND guidance for stewards.
Yes.
Despite that, there was at least 3 undercover officers infiltrating CND, reporting back from these meetings where they were telling their stewards to cooperate with the police. I mean, it just shows that it doesn't matter how reasonable or well behaved you are, if you're engaged in any form of political organising on the progressive left, you're going to get infiltrated.
You are, and it did remind me of the state of politics in those days. We did have a particularly reactionary government. I mean, I know we in a way we have ever since, but at the time it was a transformatively reactionary government, and there was so much resistance to it from so many different areas that the peace movement was. I mean, I find these things hard because the official position is that we're not subversives. The police are the actual subversives, and they were. What the police were doing was subversive of political democracy. But actually, we were trying to be subversive, and I think we were subversive of something that was that was new at the time and has become normal, but is just so reactionary that it's good to be reminded that we have always fought against it, and that we are right to do so.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when it when we compare like the kind of politics we come from, though, to the CNDs, I mean, they were remarkably cuddly, fluffy, and more than willing to go along with whatever controls the police put upon them for any of their sort of demonstrations.
Yes, they were, and yes, they were very, very cooperative. But yes, it was partly the politics. It was Heseltine wanted them spied on to know what they were doing, what the Greenham women were up to. So it was a party political thing. This focus.
Yeah, that was the particularly interesting thing, wasn't it? So we were shown a letter by Heseltine to all the Conservative candidates in marginal seats for the 1983 general election, saying that that CND were it was part of the communists. Its main
CND
principles.
Stood for communists. Oh no, I can't remember now. But defeatists, it was defeatist.
I mean, essentially, that some of this massively subversive organisation that it was, was coming for your seats essentially, and it's really showed. We saw with the reporting from the undercover police from this period. There's a clear political motivation. This is nothing to do with subversion. This is nothing to do with disorder, and it's everything to do with party political victory for the Conservative Party at that 83 election. And it just shows the way in which the SDS were being used for things which were well outside its official remit. I mean, we take issue with its official remit, but this goes far beyond that, A lot of today has been a history lesson as opposed to any sort of new revelations, but it was quite telling. We saw a lot of reports that were talking about the potential subversiveness of the CND, and then other ones which predated it, saying there is no subversive force within CND. I did think we might be finished by now, though we are going back for an afternoon session, but I think it will be very short. Is there anything else you want to add, Mike, about this morning?
Not about today, no.
No
But I'm just, I want to say, it's really interesting being here because, I mean, there was stuff previously that I'd seen the documents, and it was only when actually coming in and listening to stuff that it made me realise, hold on, I understand what this is talking about, and it's complete rubbish. Whereas just reading through blocks of texts, I just didn't, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see these things live, and yeah. So we'll see. I mean, yes, there's still plenty of documents to be to go through. But
there is a huge number of documents. I mean, I definitely relate to that. Like, kind of, it's very dry, difficult reading, like trawling through the documents. I think we're best left to the likes of the Undercover Research Group, who seem to enjoy that sort of thing
Yes.
for some reason. Anyway, thanks for joining us.